iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing.
Welcome to another episode of Growin Up Broadway, the world's first podcast for theater makers who are young or young at heart.
Today's show features Tony-nominated director Jeff Calhoun and Broadway's own Capathia Jenkins.
Help me, Sondheim.
So help me, Sondheim.
Growing up, yeah, we're growing up, yeah, we're growing up Broadway.
Welcome to Growin Up Broadway. I'm your co-host, Timothy Allen McDonald.
And I'm your other co-host, S.J. Arniger.
So I have an official announcement.
Oh?
Yeah, I'm addicted to jogging.
Oh, okay. Good for you. How's that going?
I mean, I'm on week 7 of an 8-week app on my phone that's got me running 2 miles, and no one is chasing me.
So does that mean you're going to sign up for like a marathon or a half marathon when this whole thing is over?
Only if the marathon's goal is to come in last, because I am like the slowest runner ever. Like, it will need to be a marathon dedicated to turtles, Tim, and a couple sloths.
You should have come up with some other T word in there. That would have been better.
Oh, that was off the cuff. So alliteration is your friend. How's it going for you?
Good. I mean, I worked on Saturday doing the matinee, and then Sunday I took a me day. I didn't talk to anybody. I sat on my couch and watched TV. I had just a complete me day, and it was much needed and overdue, so I'm glad it happened finally.
What did you watch?
I catch up on some shows, catch up on some movies. It is a known fact that I am a lover of really terrible Hallmark movies, so I may have watched a couple of those. So, just kind of bad TV that you just need every once in a while.
You and Kennedy, like, our DVR is like all made. Those terrible. I can't watch them.
I just the writing is so bad, and you just know exactly what's going to happen. So, it's a problem, and Steve and I can definitely bond over that one day.
So, what is on tap for this Saturday's matinee?
This Saturday is the spectacular Moulin Rouge, the musical. We are very excited. It will feature some really lovely cast moments, some really great sound bites. If you have seen the musical, you know it is definitely a spectacular, and I think the show is going to be wonderful. 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on iHeartRadioBroadway.com, or download the free iHeart app and search Broadway. But we will be airing Moulin Rouge, the musical, which we're excited about.
Wow, that's really big news. I did not know that. That's so cool. Stephen and I saw it in previews, and I'm obsessed. What I loved about the show is that it felt like the big musicals, like when you first saw Phantom or Les Mis. Like, it's all environmental, and like the stage is there. It's just so fun. So
it's like, do you remember the first time you walked into the theater of Cats and it was just everything? That's how it feels when you walk into the Al Hirschfeld Theater. It is so immersive, and the big elephant and the Moulin Rouge, whatever, that thing.
The windmill.
Thank you. I need to get out of my apartment, clearly. It's a beautiful show, and I have to say it is probably my favorite opening of an Act 2 I have ever seen.
Certainly in a long time. Wow, yeah, it's great. Oh, I'm glad. That's awesome. What time does that happen?
2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time every Saturday.
Yay, we'll all be listening.
Perfect. What's on tap for JT Friday?
JT Friday, we're introducing a choreography intensive that is being led by Stephen G. Kennedy and Shay Rogers and 16 kids from all over the country. They're Zooming 3 numbers, which is really cool and really fun. And we have Mr. Jeff Calhoun on the show with a special guest, Jeremy Jordan.
Ooh, just no big deal.
Big deal, Jeremy Jordan. We also, we just launched our first professional development session on how to do a Zoomsicle. And notice the air quotes, don't sue me, Zoom. It's sold out. So we had to add a second session and it's sold out. So I'm excited that people are embracing this online technology, and we're really looking forward to helping people bring their community together and do that thing we all love, which is make the world a better place, one musical at a time.
Absolutely. And I think, we're going to be in this situation for a while. So I think embracing the online streaming capabilities right now is the future of our industry, unfortunately, but at least we've all kind of figured out how to make it happen.
Yeah, the announcement today that Broadway is definitely delayed till September at least. Read between the lines, people. The book and what I'm saying. Wow, I'm super punny today. I don't know why. But it's important that we do what we love, but it's also important that people stay sequestered for just some time longer until we can get ahead of this whole thing.
Yeah, and I know that you and I are in New York City and we're in a little bit of a different situation, but everyone just needs to take heed and do what's right for them. But, there are outlets out there, things that you can do to help keep going with your musical theater activities, your theater activities. So, if you need help, you can always do some deep diving into iTheatrics methods and what they're doing right now. So, yeah.
Well, I hope that Broadway embraces the concept of streaming each performance live. Like as a kid growing up who had no access to professional theater in, small Northern California, I would have saved all of my allowance and spent $60 to see a live performance of a Broadway show. I think of all the shows that I could have seen, that you can never see because, it's ephemeral, the art form we do. It lasts for a certain time and each performance is different. So that's my big dream right now.
Well, I think the fact that certain people have been embracing giving away info for free and actually performances for free, like Andrew Lloyd Webber, every Friday he's got a new show that's available for streaming on the Shows Must Go On YouTube page. You guys are doing things with JT Fridays. The Broadway industry is rallying to be able to give out content so it keeps people engaged, which I think is just really smart right now.
Yeah, I agree. And it's keeping me and lots of people feeling hopeful and alive.
Exactly. So we already talked about JT Friday. I skipped ahead with the actual segment. So what time is JT Friday this week?
It's always live at 4:00 on the iTheatrics Facebook page or our YouTube channel. And that's 4:00 Eastern time, 1:00 Pacific time. All the other time zones, you're going to have to just do your own math.
And the good thing is you can actually watch it after. If you can't make it, it does live on. So you can watch it on the iTheatrics Facebook or YouTube page if you can't be there at 4 p.m.
Absolutely.
So should we get to our guests?
Yes, I'm so excited.
So let's welcome our guest, Tony-nominated director of Newsies, Jeff Calhoun, and the original Meta from Newsies, Capathia Jenkins.
Hey, guys.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Thank you so much for joining us today.
Well, thanks for having me. Thank you.
So how are you two holding up right now?
Capathia, you go first.
I'm doing okay. I moved, my husband and I moved from New York City about 6 months ago. We now live in a suburb just outside Atlanta, Georgia. It's really quiet. It's a subdivision. And it's just a weird existence. My husband is still working, but I'm at home all day. And so, I sort of fluctuate between good days and bad days. Sometimes I miss singing and I miss the stage so much that I just, I could cry, you know what I mean? And then there are other days where I just feel really hopeful and, I'll hear a story about a friend who got well and woke up, who was in a coma, like all of those things. So I'm having all of these emotions And underneath all of that, I'm just really grateful. You know, I'm grateful for my health, my husband's health, and we have all that we need, thank God. You know, we have money, we have food, you know, it's like we're okay, you know what I mean? So, I mean, that's sort of a long answer of how I'm doing, but that's like the truth of it. Yeah.
Jeff, how about you?
Don't you just love Capathia? I mean, she glows from the inside out. It's rare. She's really that one in a million, and what you see is what you get. Working with her was one of the great joys, of my career, and still working with her. I'm doing great. My husband and I are, you know, we feel very fortunate. I got hit pretty hard with it. Not as hard as some, but I was just in the hospital for a week, and so it does make you count your blessings, Capathia. You know, you're absolutely right. But thank God, when I got out and started to recover, I had this wonderful Covenant House event that's going to be broadcast on Monday. And if you don't know about Covenant House, it's a huge organization. It's very close to both Capathias in my heart. And it gave me an outlet for my creativity, thank God, to direct this. So we feel blessed too, my husband and I, and my mom and dad are doing well. So we're doing well, but mostly for me, it's because I got to work on this Covenant House event on Monday, the 18th of May.
And we're going to dive deep into that. I'm so excited to hear, honestly, you've shared a couple of clips with me on the down low, and I can't wait to.
You're not supposed to tell anybody I did that.
Is this live?
Oh my God, you get me in trouble.
Just little clips here and there. Jeff, it was really nice last week to have a virtual toast with you and the team from Between the Lines on what would have been our opening night. It was just such a great to have Kate and Elisa and Jody there. Thanks for doing that.
Oh, please, it's my pleasure. It was sad we didn't get to open, but I have all the confidence that our wonderful producer, Del Roth, is going to, you know, get us to New York, hopefully in the spring.
Indeed.
Capathia, you know, the people that watch this podcast or listen to this podcast, they're huge Newsies fans, and you originated the role of Meta in Newsies. What was it like originating that role that's no one else had ever played before?
It was, I tell you, it was really amazing. I'll tell you, they had done the show at Paper Mill Playhouse with a different sort of characterization of Meta, and I saw them on The View one morning, right? So the boys danced, and I think they did a piece of Seize the Day, and then Jeremy sang like a little bit of Santa Fe, and I remember sitting on the couch and saying, ooh, this looks like an old time musical. This is gonna be good. I'm excited, you know. And then I got a call to audition, and I was like, wait a minute, I don't dance. What? I don't know what's happening. I don't know. And then, so then I get there, and they told me that they wanted Meta to be more of a nurturing character for Jack Kelly and all that. And I just sort of immersed myself inside of it. But I will tell you, and I say this often in interviews about Newsies, is that it was one of the best experiences of my life, because by then, I think Newsies may have been my 5th Broadway show. And to be in a space with so many young people making their debuts, it just reminded me of that magic of Broadway and like all that good stuff. And then I sort of became this mama, this mother figure to so many of the boys. And it was the happiest place on earth to work every day. Even when we had a crazy schedule, like 2 shows on Saturday, 2 shows on Sunday, 1 on Monday, 1 on Tuesday, off on Wednesday. Oh my God. But it was still great and wonderful. And, and then I had a front row seat to Jeff, sort of really being a father figure to these kids and teaching them how to be good human beings in the theater. I remember him saying, when you come to the theater, you always speak to the doorman. You always speak to the crew. We are a family. We're all creating this together. And you just, you don't get lessons like that. And so I loved it so much. I love those boys so much. And it was a great experience for me. And it was wonderful bringing somebody like Meta to life, you know, this Black woman at the turn of the century who like had her own theater and, you know, and all that good stuff. So I just, you know, and then I had Alan Menken, you know, and Jack write me a song. I mean, it was like a whole, you know, like, oh my God, it's Christmas for me. It was wonderful. A great, great experience.
Jeff, do you remember when Capathia auditioned?
Oh, are you kidding me? She's absolutely right. We knew we wanted a different direction for Meta, but we had no idea what direction that was. And it was just like you hope in when you're casting any show, when they walk in the door, you go, you know, you sort of sit up because you're there all day, right? And you're seeing a lot of people. But Capathia walked in and we all kind of like sat up the minute she opened her mouth. And the minute she left the door, we just all looked at each other and it was done. It was like, there's Meta. That's our Meta. It was done. Done the minute she walked out the door.
Yay.
So you both are here today because there's a very special event that's taking place on Monday, and it's to support the Covenant House. Can you tell our listeners the importance of the work Covenant House does?
Oh my God, you know, Capathia, it's funny what a small world this is. I believe, Capathia, tell me if I'm making this up or I dreamed this. I think one of the reasons you left Newsies at the height of its success, you told me that there was this organization you wanted to spend more time with. And I believe that was called Covenant House. And you invited me to a sleepout. And that was my introduction some 8 years ago.
Yeah.
So you should probably talk first, being that you brought me aboard.
Yeah, you know, Covenant House is a shelter for homeless youth. And, you know, we have locations in 31 cities across the country and in Canada and in Central America. And what I love about this organization is it's not just a shelter in the sense of how we all know a shelter, right? Look, you come in, you get shelter, and you get a hot meal and a bed and all of that. You get all of those things with Covenant House, but it's such a comprehensive program where now you know, you have medical doctors and on site, the kids learn how to write their resumes and go for job searches. If they haven't finished high school, there's a program for them to get their GED and go back to school. And it's all of those things that I think, because it's one thing to get a hot meal and a bed, but you really need to get them back on their feet so they can be productive citizens in our society. That's the whole goal. You know what I mean? And these kids are coming from so many different backgrounds and so many different life experiences that Covenant House has a way of meeting each of them where they live and then growing them and taking them on to be productive citizens. So yeah, it's a great organization, and I'm so excited that we started the Broadway Sleepout, which is an annual event. And as Jeff said, it's been 8 years now. We've raised over $1 million, and Stephanie J. Block and myself was sort of the creators of that event, and we're so proud of it. You know, just to bring the Broadway community in. I always say about the Broadway community, we're a small, sort of tight-knit family, but when we are faced with an issue, we step up to it and we wrap our arms around it and we just show up. And that's what we've done. So I'm just really proud of Covenant House and all the work they do and our amazing staff. Yeah, and we just, people have always said to me, you know, how do you give back? You're gonna give back, you need to give back. And I didn't know that this was missing from my life until I, you know, found it. So, yeah.
And Capathia, do you know what else is, even during the COVID-19 crisis, more than 1,900 young people sleep in Covenant House bed each night.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, it's kind of remarkable. I think we reach 74,000 young people every year.
Yeah.
It's kind of remarkable. It is life-changing. It changed my life the minute I went in and heard our president and CEO, Kevin Ryan, who's amazing, talk about, we're there to be helium for these kids' dreams. he had me. I'm like, anyone who can talk like that, I'm there.
Yeah. Yes, yeah.
Would you guys go a little deeper in the Sleepout movement and what that is, in case the folks out there don't know?
The Sleep Out is an event that we do every year. And it basically is, you sign up for the Sleep Out, you get a web page, and it's as if you were raising money, like to run a 5K or whatever. You're raising money and you're raising the awareness around these homeless kids. And so you have a goal that you set. People log onto your page, they give money, and then on the night of the Sleep Out, you come to the shelter, you meet some of the kids that live there, you meet the staff, you get a real overview of what the shelter does, and then you literally get a piece of cardboard and a sleeping bag and you go sleep out on the street. And it's not to sort of say that we know what it's like to be homeless or anything like that, but just to sleep out in solidarity, right? To show people that this is what these kids do. And in New York City, you know, we sleep out in sort of the courtyard of the shelter, and it's protected and all of that. But I remember one year, I don't know if you remember this, Jeff, one year, after we, you know, because for Broadway, it's like a sleepover. You know what I mean? Like we're all out there, we're singing, we're talking, we get our sleeping bags, and then we sort of quiet down and lights out, and then it started to rain. And it was so sobering, because we could grab our sleeping bags and we could run into the like cafeteria, right? Where we had sort of had all of our events earlier. We could go inside and get out of the rain. And you could see everyone with tears in their eyes saying, but these kids don't have that option. If you're sleeping on the street and it starts to rain, you're just in the rain. You know what I mean? And it was so sobering to us. And one of the great things about a Sleep Out is at the end of it in the morning, when you wake up and fold up your sleeping bags and all that, we sit around in a circle and we have a reflection. And so many people were just talking about, boy, now I get it. Now I get what it must mean to not have a place to go. And these kids, and then they wake up right on the street, and then you have to find where you're going to get a shower. You got to go to school, or you got to go to work, or it is just, it's unthinkable. And so that's the gist of a Sleep Out, right? And in that, hopefully we've raised enough money, or a lot of money, and we all really feel good about it. So in 8 years, we've raised well over $1 million now, but it's, that's the gist of it.
If someone wanted to find out more information about the Sleep Out movement, do they go to the Covenant House website, or?
Yes, they can go to covenanthouse.org. And the great thing about a Sleep Out, I don't know about your listeners and viewers, is that we have them all over the country, and they're different. There's a whole Sleep Out America movement now, where kids or families can sleep out in their backyards and raise money. And there's a whole movement now. So yeah, you go to covenanthouse.org and you can find out about sleep outs and all that.
That's right.
And this year, you all were supposed to have your annual gala, and unfortunately, because of everything going on in the world, it was canceled. But the silver lining is it has moved on to be a virtual gala, and it's the Night of Covenant House Stars, and it's going to take place on Monday. And can you tell us a little bit about what we can all expect from the gala?
Yeah, it's really, Sarah Jane, it's really thrilling because, as you mentioned, each year in New York, well, every site has one. We call it Night of Broadway Stars. Obviously, we're in the center of the Great White Way, but all those sites had to cancel, so we decided we would have one to represent all of our 31 cities in 6 different countries. And that helped us broaden our net. So in other words, instead of just having our wonderful friends who are still there, the Jeremy Jordans and Laura Osnes and Audra McDonald and Capathia and Darius and Stephanie Block, all of our usuals, we have Dolly Parton, and we have Bon Jovi, and Meryl Streep, and Diane Keaton, and Martin Short. And it's really kind of extraordinary. We also have Oh, did you see Six,
Yes.
the Broadway musical? When I was doing 9 to 5 at the Savoy Theater on the West End, Six was running. And Jerry Mitchell, said, you have to see the show. It's amazing. And I saw it 3 times. I was obsessed with it. And so when they were supposed to have their opening night the day Broadway closed. And so we're going to have them on the show to get a chance to show America this wonderful show Six. So I'm excited about that. We have most of the original cast of Brooklyn reuniting to do Heart Behind These Hands. Speaking of Moulin Rouge, we have Karen Olivo, and Eden Espinoza, and Ramona Keller, and Quentin Darrington, and Will Swenson. It's going to be a really exciting night. Stephen Colbert, can't leave him out.
The list of celebrities that are attached, when I got it, it is mind-blowing, the people that are coming to be a part of this virtual gala on Monday.
Yeah, no, it's really thrilling. And trying to not just, you see a lot of the shows and you can tell they're just going through Rolodexes and putting famous people up there. The fun and the joy for me has been trying to contextualize all the stars towards our messaging and programs at Covenant House. So it really incorporates our youth. We have this wonderful section. The Broadway Inspirational Voices are going to be our big finale. They're just remarkable, singing a Benj and Justin song. And anyway, they do something called the Songs in the Key of Me, where they spend 1 month mentoring our talented singers or musicians in Covenant Houses all over the world. And in that 1 month, the kids, our youth, write an original song. And so we're going to have 2 performances by our youth being mentored by the BIB, and that's always really, really moving.
And Capathia, will you be performing on Monday?
I am. I'm singing a duet with Darius DeHaas. It's an arrangement that Jason Howland did of Ain't No Mountain High Enough, the Marvin Gaye and Tammy Terrell. And I think, Jeff, we're doing that to celebrate our frontline workers and all that. It's really exciting. I'm so excited about it.
That's exactly right. And what happened before you, I don't know that you know this, Capathia, but Morgan Freeman introduces y'all. He actually talks about our frontline workers. And during that section, we try to honor them. And so by the time we get to your song, Ain't No Mountain, it's really about the kids. They're getting the residual love and generosity of our frontline workers.
Yeah, it's great. I'm excited.
So Jeff, putting on these online events is challenging with like 16 kids, which we've done, but like, I'm not dealing with Meryl Streep or, how did you do this with everyone in sequester?
Well, as I said, for me, it's been a godsend, for an outlet for my creativity, and I'm learning a lot. It's great to be this old and still learn something. Like every day I'm learning so much. And it is, I have to say, it's much more labor intensive than doing a live event by 15%. But listen, I'd be lying if I said it wasn't thrilling to have that noise when you get something in your inbox, beep, and I look and it's like this audio clip from Meryl Streep. I'm like, oh. I mean, it's exciting when Capathia texts me, but just saying. So no, it's great. And of course, Dolly is a remarkable woman. I just reached out to Dolly saying, would you say a few words to our youth and words of encouragement? And within an hour, she wrote back and said, not only that, but I'm going to sing a song for you too. And she had everything delivered to us within 42 hours. It was kind of remarkable.
Wow.
Yeah, that's Dolly. And the fact that Covenant House attracts people like that, I think says a lot about Covenant House and a lot about people who care about our homeless situation with young people who are either have addiction problem or trafficking is a huge problem, especially in our Honduras and Nicaragua and Guatemala and Mexico City. Because the thing about our Latin American sites that touch me so much is the kids skew so much younger than in this country because we have the foster program, foster parents. So we can't accept certain ages of children, but there they don't have that. So we have, 10, 11, 12-year-old kids that are trafficked and 12-year-old mamas. And we have a beautiful mama and babies program there that houses women. And we have a safe house for people that
Yeah.
we need to protect. It's I can't say enough about Covenant House. And if you want to learn any more, you should just go to covenanthouse.org, because it's a remarkable organization, as there are so many, but this one is very close to both Capathia's and my heart. And I hope that heart is infused in what you see Monday night at 8 o'clock. And you know what else is exciting, which we've never had before? You can stream it on a lot of platforms, but Amazon Prime has also come aboard. So you can watch it on Amazon Prime, which is really thrilling.
Yeah, it really is thrilling.
I'm really excited that iHeartRadio Broadway actually jumped on board pretty quickly when we found out about the virtual gala. So we are also streaming the gala.
Yay!
Oh, that's
Thank
exciting.
you so much. Thank you.
So we're really excited
awesome.
to be part of it. We're running PSAs for Covenant House right now, and we are thrilled to be a part of the event on Monday night.
Well, I'm going to try to get you a few little sneak clips that I'm not supposed to do. So don't tell anyone, just play it.
So if Capathia, if there's a kid out there who is watching this podcast or listening to it and they're in need, or they know another kid who is in need, what advice would you give those kids?
I would tell them, if you need a place to stay, a meal, you need to wash your clothes, you're living on the street, find a Covenant House. Find a Covenant House. They're in most cities, but go to covenanthouse.org and reach out for help. Reach out. Don't stay out there by yourself. You're not alone. We are here to help you. Just get inside, get off the street, and it's going to be okay. It's going to get better. It's going to get better. There's so many people there. There's so much goodness in the world. And sometimes it's hard to see the goodness because you feel like you're surrounded by darkness and bad news and all of that. But there are good people in the world. Trust me, and get some help.
Yeah, I was going to actually say the same thing. If you don't have a Covenant House in your city, kindness is more prevalent than we think in the world. And I think you just have to let people know that you're in search of that, and you will be surprised how much kindness and how close it is to you.
Yeah.
You just have to open up your eyes and your heart and trust the universe, because people are really, really kind and want to help.
Mm-hmm.
And if our listeners did want to become involved with Covenant House, what's the best way? I know we keep talking about visiting covenanthouse.org to find out more, but are there certain things that our listeners can do to help out?
Well, we've mentioned a few here. You can help by donating to anyone who's doing the Sleepout. You can tune in Monday night at 8 o'clock and see A Night of Covenant House Stars, and you can donate there too. But I do think going to covenanthouse.org is probably the simplest way.
Yeah, because there's many, we typically have a lot of volunteer opportunities for people who can't give money, but they can give their time. And you have to be creative now in a pandemic. You can't just walk up to the shelter, right? And so if you go to covenanthouse.org, you can see how you can get involved. But we have, there's volunteer things. You can give clothes. You can give money, there's so many different things you can do, around the holidays, we usually have people come and serve the kids a Christmas dinner, or I've done volunteer where I've gone and I've wrapped gifts for the kids and had hot chocolate and cookies and talk with the kids and all of those things. So those may not be available right now, but there's still ways that you can get involved. So yeah.
And also, Sarah Jane, if you're in a position where you have a company and you can help, whoops, I've just lost it. Sorry about that. I was Italian there for a minute. But if you're in a position with a company to help mentor our kids, a lot of companies, Tom Schumacher at Disney Theatrics, he's hired a few of our kids to be ushers in the theaters. Google has had us in and help train kids. There are a lot of restaurants that have hired our youth. So if you are in a position like that, we're always looking we also train our youth. As Capathia said earlier, it's not just a shelter for a bed and hot food. If you're interested and you want to follow the rules, we help you go to school. We help you find a job.
Mhm.
We're there for you. We become sort of that support that you obviously don't have out in the world. And we teach self-reliance. You know, it's not just handouts. These youth have rules that they have to abide by, just like we all did growing up. And we're there to provide those rules and say, one thing that's really unique and wonderful about our youth is we help them get jobs.
Mhm.
And once we do, we keep some of their money. But what they don't know is when they leave, we give them back to them, and it's accumulated the interest, and they weren't even aware of that. And so we try to be a good parent that they don't have, that some of us were blessed with. So it's an extraordinary organization. And I should also mention, you know, we're partners with True Colors, Cyndi Lauper's True Colors, which were very supportive in Covenant House of the LGBTQ community. It's very unconditional. We accept and love everybody. We don't turn anybody away.
That's right.
And we don't tolerate bullying. If you're caught bullying, you're out.
You're out.
You know, I know it sounds too good to be true, but I'm telling you, it's a spectacular organization, and it just attracts the most incredible staff. I mean, there are people that had to leave their families during this quarantine for our children. They consider our kids to be their kids, and it's really kind of special.
And I know, you know, Jeff said it sounds too good to be true, but I've been doing this long enough and on the board of directors of Covenant House International for a while now. And I know that that kind of set of circumstances comes from the top down. And so Kevin Ryan, who's our CEO and president, he is just goodness and so inclusive, and making sure that we know how, you know, when we have our LGBTQ and, you know, how the whole gender thing, our bathrooms, like just everything is set up so that these kids feel safe and they feel comfortable. That is, I mean, and for me, that's everything, because everybody, I think, just wants to be seen. You want to be heard, but you want to be safe. You want to be safe. And so if you walk into one of our shelters, that is what you will feel. And that, for me, is from the top down.
And Monday night, we have a very special segment in our show where Zachary Quinto talks with one of our young gay residents in Georgia. And it's very moving because he was a fan of Zachary's, and his name is Today, and he couldn't believe that Zachary was like talking to him. And Zachary is such a great activist for our community. I also sit on the international board of directors, and I wouldn't be part of Covenant House if they weren't totally inclusive and supportive of our community.
That's right.
I don't think there's a big enough thank you to you both for what you're doing with Covenant House. Also, just for what Covenant House is in general. Just a giant thank you to just everything you guys are doing right now. It's absolutely fantastic, and I'm going to get a little weepy about it because, you know, the time that we live in right now. Yeah.
Capathia and I cry almost every time we go there. We're so moved by whether it be the stories or the kindness of others, but so I understand what you're feeling. It's
and I often say, you know, to our kids that is what I think we should do. We should inspire each other heart to heart, right? And so that's what you're experiencing right now. Your heart is so wide open, right? And so you wish, I know for me, it's like, I wish I could take every kid and give them, you know, money and put them through college and do all of it, but you do what you can. You know, we all do what we can. And when you do what you can, you end up changing the world. You know, it's a powerful, powerful thing. And so, yes,
and
I'm glad your heart is open.
I don't know about you, Capathia, but Tim and Sarah Jane, for me, I'm embarrassed to say it took me a couple years to understand that the least interesting thing about our youth is that they're homeless. You know, we tend to define, oh, that's a homeless youth. Well, that's just where they don't live, you know, or where they're everything else. They're singers and future scientists, and they're no different than any of us with homes were, with aspirations and dreams. And we're just trying to fill that one little void that they have in their life, and all the ramifications, obviously, from that. But Yeah, but
Before I turn into a bigger puddle of tears right now, I just want to. The podcast always winds up with one of us crying, so it's fine. Monday night, 8 p.m. Eastern Time, Monday, May 18th. You can watch the Covenant House Night of Stars on a variety of different platforms. I'm going to mention me first.
absolutely.
Broadway.com and our YouTube channels, Amazon Prime, covenanthouse.org and their YouTube page, Broadway HD. You literally have a plethora of places to be able to watch.
Yeah, Facebook and Twitch, I think. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
So please tune in. I promise you this event will be absolutely fantastic and blow your mind. I know so many people are doing virtual galas right now, but I implore you all to watch this event Monday night, truly.
Oh,
Yeah,
well, thank you for having us.
It's so important. I can't imagine being homeless as an adult, let alone as a teen or a youth. And I can't imagine during this pandemic. It's terrifying.
Mm-hmm.
Truly is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, everyone tune in, make big donations. I think you guys are going to raise so much money and you're going to get so much interest that a lot of good is going to come out of this time, this crazy time that we're in. I really do.
Well, thank you from your mouth.
Well, okay, so we're going to switch gears. It's a tough. We're like going from like fifth to reverse a little bit. We end this podcast with a musical theater themed quiz. So SJ and I are going to ask you a bunch of rando questions. Just give us the first thing that pops into your mind, and you might win a brand new car.
I want one at the box that Jay's carrying down the aisle. Are you anyone old enough to remember that? Yes. Or Carol Merrill in The Second Curtain.
Yeah, the car's about this big.
Uh-huh.
Okay.
All right, are we ready?
Yeah.
All right, on your mark, get set, go.
What's your favorite musical of all time?
West Side Story.
Oh my God, I have to say the new production of West Side Story that I just saw.
Ooh, I haven't seen that. Okay.
Funniest or most embarrassing thing that has ever happened to you live on stage?
Oh my God, my first show, Dancing with Ann Miller, and I wanted to kick higher than her and fell right on my ass. Oh.
I was singing I'm Not Going, Effie and Dreamgirls, backing up, and my foot caught the step and fell, but just stinging. Yeah, toward the end of the song. Yeah.
Oh.
That brings new meaning to the song because I'm not leaving because I
Boom.
Yes.
Oh God.
if you could play any role regardless of gender, which one would you choose?
Oh, I've always wanted since I was a kid to be Harold Hill. My whole life.
I would be T Moon in Once on This Island.
That's a good one. Who do you want to be when you grow up?
Oh, that's easy. I don't want to grow up. I don't want to grow up. So that would be what, Sandy Duncan or Mary Martin?
Yeah, I think I don't know. I want to be more of myself, I think.
Good answers. You guys are nailing it. If you could only eat one thing for eternity, what would it be?
Sweet potato pie.
Ooh.
Oh my God. Oh my God. Lay's potato chips and onion dip.
So good. All right, Jeff, which of the following shows you've directed would you describe as your favorite? Brooklyn, Disney's High School Musical, Big River, or Bonnie and Clyde?
Yes. Yeah.
Nailed it.
That's good.
It's the truth. It's the truth.
Capathia, which of the following roles was your favorite? The washing machine in Caroline or Change, Hattie McDaniel in Asterisk Misunderstanding Mammy, or Meta in Newsies?
Yes. Thank you, Jeff. Yes.
It was that Jack Benny pause, though. I knew it was coming. I knew it was coming.
Well,
And
congrats.
those are also hard because you have reasons that you love each one. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's
That's
hard.
exactly right. Yep.
Yeah.
Also,
It's
just
like
to
having
say-
your children. There's reasons you love each one of your kids. They're all different, but
Yeah.
they're all great in their own way.
And Capathia, how thrilled are you that there's a revival of Caroline or Change coming?
Oh my gosh, it makes me so happy. And so many people were messaging me and like, you know, did you hear about it? How do you feel? How do you feel? It is amazing. It's amazing. I'm so excited. I cannot wait to see it. And I've been reaching out to the different people who are already cast and just telling them to enjoy the ride, be present in the moment. It's such a great piece of work. So yeah, I'm excited. I'm really excited.
Capathia, wait till you see. I saw that production in London, and it's spectacular.
That's what I've heard. I can't wait. I cannot wait.
One of the greatest nights I had in years in the theater, actually.
Mhm.
I'm excited that a new generation gets to experience that show.
Absolutely.
I'm so
Absolutely.
excited for that.
Yeah, me too.
Well, congratulations. You both won a new Mercedes, but it's going to be a Matchbox toy about this big. We'll ship it to you as soon as we get out of, this.
As soon as I can make them.
Okay.
You know
Well,
that.
thank you both so much. What a good time this was.
Yeah, thank you so much. And
Thank
stay safe and be well.
Thank you. And we'll see you both Monday night.
Okay.
Thank you. Absolutely.
Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Every episode, I think, is just going to divulge into one of us crying or both.
I was glad it was you, although I was also completely teary-eyed. And I was like, am I going to have to jump in here? And I'm like, well, what are you going to do? Just blubber with her?
I mean, again, it's like we're so lucky for what we have right now. And the fact that you and I both have roofs over our heads and we're still working and all of that, it does get to you, especially for the fact that, we're still in isolation and we haven't seen each other. And, you have to start realizing that there are other people that need help right now.
And people who are in grave need. And, for it to be a kid, it's just not right. And we can make the world a better place. We can make a difference. All of us can do something. And boy, if the world can't come together now, it's never going to. And we are going to come together. We have to just make it happen.
And I will say again, I know that there are so many important causes out there right now. You and I talk about them on a weekly basis between Broadway Cares and the Actors Fund. But I really encourage all of our watchers, all of our listeners to watch this event on Monday night to fully understand what Covenant House does on a daily basis. And please consider donating to this amazing, amazing cause.
If the cause doesn't speak to you, well, you're dead. But if it doesn't speak to you for some reason, just think about what you would pay to see one of the people who's on that broadcast, let alone the 40 superstars who are giving of their time and their talents to make the world a better place. So,
and even if you're just paying the cost of what you would pay to see a Meryl Streep movie, please go do it, because I will tell you, you will feel better knowing you did it for this amazing organization.
And some kid will not have to sleep on the street.
Absolutely. So that is today's episode. We are going to get off our soapbox for a hot second, but again, please watch on Monday. That's today's episode of Growing Up Broadway. I am your co-host, S.J. Arniger.
And I'm your other co-host, Timothy Allen McDonald.
We will see you next time.
Take it away, Luca. Go out there and make the world a better place, one musical at a time.
May the Schwartz be with you.
And also with you.
Growing up, growing up, growing up, Broadway, growing up, Broadway.
iHeartRadio Broadway, driven by Mercedes-Benz. The best or nothing.